dan, dobrodošli. Natalie, welcome back.
Thank you, it's good to be back.
We'll be switching to English because Natalie is the ambassador of the United States to Croatia. She was, but she also always will be, right?
Absolutely.
When we met this last November on a very, very cool, cold rooftop in Copenhagen, I have to admit that I immediately, I mean, it's ridiculous to say girl crush, but I did have a woman crush. So this is probably not going to be the most objective conversation on earth, but bear with me, I think it's going to be fun. I can notice also that the sun is very appealing outside, so we hope that some people will come back from the sun to talk and to hear this wonderful woman talk to us. Natalie, you are back, and I know that you were immediately going to have tripice and some of your other foods, but since you left us as an ambassador, what is it that you miss the most from Croatia?
Well, I love the people. I miss the people, of course. I miss the city. I love Zagreb as a beautiful capital city, but the people make a city, and so I miss Croatians themselves. And the diversity in Croatia. From the sea to the mountains to the cities, and so of course I love the food, you know, from tripice to sarma. I love the National Theater that you have here, the beautiful opera.
You went to see Aida.
I went to see Aida on Monday as soon as I arrived, and so you know, there's a lot to miss in Croatia, but I obviously come back often, and I will continue coming back often.
You know, this is not the question I planned, but there was somebody who posted on Instagram after you came to Zagreb this past week that, you know, like, you love Croatia so much, maybe you should be an ambassador of Croatia to anywhere.
Well, you know,
Did you say yes to that?
I'm a very proud American, but I will always have Croatia in my heart.
Good. Let's talk about being proud American. One reason why Natalie's here with us and the reason why we bonded so well is that we are both finishing our first book.
That's right.
You are writing the book From Immigrant to Ambassador. You also, especially for the geopolitical situation today, I think you have a really interesting background, right? You are Lebanese and a Venezuelan, and you came to the States when you were 9 years old. You remember what did Natalie at the age of 9 thought about coming to States?
Well, I did not want to come to the United States. I don't think anybody likes to leave their home country to travel anywhere. So when, you know, we're not kind to immigrants, I always feel like, you know, they're going through a rough time, those immigrants. They're leaving everything that they have behind, coming to a new country, not speaking the language. And so we have to be very empathetic when it comes to immigrant and migration of people. You know, I came at 9 years old, not wanting to leave my home country of Venezuela, and not speaking a word of English. And I was in 5th grade. And you know, 5th grade is a tough time to be a woman, a girl, and especially not speaking the language. But you know, that taught me resilience. That taught me that it was up to me to be successful, and and I had it within me to be successful. So I learned the language, I quickly adapted, and a year later my father passed away. So it was a lot of crises in a row. And so I grew up very quickly. At 10 years old, I became an adult, taking care of my mother and my brothers and sisters, and we all took care of ourselves in a new country as foreigners. And so in that early childhood experience really shaped the rest of my life, and gave me the value sets that I have today: working hard, being disciplined, dedicated, loyal, and love for everything I do.
Do you remember the 5th grade? Do you remember what you wanted to be? Did you want to be an ambassador?
I wanted to be a lawyer because
okay.
I wanted to protect people and their rights. And I felt that there was a lot of injustice in the world, and I thought law was the way to fix those injustices. But soon thereafter, I learned that there were other ways than the law to really add value.
I have to read this part because it's completely impossible for me to remember your whole career. So before becoming U.S. Ambassador to Croatia, you led the Latino Victory Foundation as President and CEO, expanding Latino representation in U.S. government. You also served as the Vice President of Public Affairs for Grupo Salinas, navigating corporate diplomacy and U.S.-Mexico relations. What did this taught you about power and responsibility? So you moved away from the law, right? But it was always about protecting people. right?
That's right. I mean, I think that, you know, for me, I've always wanted to do good in the world and leave every place I entered better than when I came in. And so I've always embraced a non-linear trajectory. People are always asking me, so what do you do? Who are you? And I continue transforming myself at every stage. I started off in local government as deputy mayor, deputy chief of staff to the mayor of Los Angeles at a very young age. And that taught me, you know, how local government is so important, how government is meant to represent people and meant to help people. From there, I went into the private sector where I worked for Grupo Salinas, but yet again, I led the philanthropic side of things, adding value and trying to change the status quo for the better. And then I went into a great career in the nonprofit world, being the president and CEO of Latino Victory, making sure that everybody is at the table of power, women, men, Latinos, black, brown, everybody, because we are a representative democracy, and when we're not all at the table, there's really something wrong with our democracy. And then obviously I became a US ambassador. But the line through all of it is adding value, is you know, making sure that we're leaving places better than when we came in.
That's nice, thank you. And when did you learn, how did you first learn about Croatia?
Well,
was it when you were appointed, or did you have any connection? Did you know anything before?
So my honeymoon was in Croatia.
Oh.
I actually went to, you know, before Croatia became the mecca of where people used to travel to. I went to Korčula, and I went to Dubrovnik in my honeymoon, and I got married in 2007, so that was a long time ago. And so Croatia has always been very dear to my heart, and I grew up in Los Angeles, where one of the largest diasporas of Croatians has thrived for over 100 years in San Pedro. And I actually worked with a lot of them, including a city council member at the time, Rudy Savornic, from a proud Dalmatian. And so, so I'm very familiar with the country. And so I think that's why when I came, Croatia immediately embraced me, and I embraced them right back because of the familiarity.
Nice. I did not know that you had a honeymoon in Croatia. That's lovely. So the 20-year anniversary is coming.
It's coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, so maybe Korčula.
Maybe we'll come back to Korčula.
Good. I also wanted to make this a little bit more conversational. So at any point, if there are any questions, I mean, she lived through so many different things, and there are obviously a lot of stuff that you can ask Nathalie. So if there's anybody who is really aching to ask something, just raise your hand, and you can join me moderating this conversation. When you came as an ambassador, what was maybe something that surprised you the most about Croatia? Which was like, did you have a particular stereotype, but then you came here, it's like, this is nothing like I expected this to be.
You know, I came to learn, and less than teaching. I think that, you know, at times as ambassadors, we come with our own agenda. And yes, I had my goals that I wanted to do or get them accomplished while I was here. But I really had no preset conditions or preset mindset. I came in with an open mind, with wanting to talk to everybody, to really embrace the culture and the community, and obviously learn. And so for me, you know, hard thing is, you know, I don't speak Croatian. I try to learn some pleasantries. Dobar dan, ja sam Nathalie Rayes, drago mi je. But, you know, I had to make a decision, either, you know, learn the language or be out and about and get to know the people. And so I chose to get to know the people. I traveled through every županija. I know almost every mayor, which is great. And so I really, you know, enjoyed my time here very much. But I had no preset conditions or stereotypes, really.
I know you used to give your entourage some hard time because you also wanted to go have some Venezuelan food in Zagreb.
But I mean, it's very funny, actually. That's a great story because when I first came, I looked for Venezuelan restaurants, and sure enough, there's an arepera, a very good arepera in Zagreb. And so, but, you know, I was so busy the first few months that I didn't have time to go to the arepera. And when I walked into the arepera, they said, "Ambassador, we've been waiting for you. Here's your arepa." And so, again, I think that this country is so kind to immigrants as well, to Venezuelans, to Ukrainians, really integrating immigrants into the fabric of Croatia, and that's something that is very admirable.
I think your diplomacy was always seen is being very humanly done, which is maybe not the approach on each and every diplomatic person in the world. Why is it so important for you to be first the human and second anything else?
Well, like Maya Angelou says, people remember how you made them feel. And so I want people to feel valued, appreciated, respected, and seen. Times we don't see each other, and it's such a shame, especially nowadays. And so, and it makes me a little emotional, to be honest with you, because, you know, it's the humans behind diplomacy. It's a people-to-people connection behind diplomacies. You could, you know, that's, at the end of the day, the most valuable diplomacy. And so, for me, I want to demystify the role of an ambassador, to be accessible to every Croatian. You know, I treated the Prime Minister and the President the same way I would treat the guard at the embassy. It's that respect, it's love for people, and making people feel valued.
That's beautiful. Let me get a little bit more personal as well. How do you balance being in these rooms of power and being a mother? Because you have two lovely boys, right? How do you balance that? It almost seems like it's incredible as well achievement of yours that you can do both.
Oh, it's a hard thing. I mean, people ask me what are the hardest things that you've done, and I've done hard things just like every woman in this room. But being a mother and having children are probably the hardest things that one can do. But my children know that they're the most important thing to me. I mean, I could be an ambassador, but if my house is burning, then that's my legacy at home. And so they know I will always pick up the phone for them, regardless. You know, one time I said, unless I'm with the president. If I'm with the president of the United States, I'm not going to pick up the phone. And so one time, Julian called me, and I was with the president, and he said, you didn't pick up, Mom, you didn't pick up. I said, what, Julian? What did Mom say to you? You would always pick up unless we were with the president. I said, exactly. I was with the president. And so making sure that your family knows that they're the most important thing, and that, you know, and my time with my children is the most valuable time. You know, I didn't think I was going to be a mother, Eva, to be honest with you. I never even thought I was going to be married. But now I'm a mother, and I'm a wife, and that really comes first.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, Nevena, why not?
And I want to tell you something. So Eva did these beautiful questions, and I said to her, I'm not going to read them because I want to be unscripted. So you can ask me everything and anything.
And not only that, I'm way off the script already.
I know,
so.
exactly. I knew that she was not going to keep to the script. She never does.
Oh, it works now. Thank you, Nathalie, so much for coming to be our special guest here. I really like this title. It's the title of your book, From the Immigrant to the Ambassador. What do you think in today's geopolitics and especially American politics, is it possible today to become from immigrant to ambassador? Is that today's possibility?
That's a great question. And thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor. And to be in a room with all these amazing, powerful Croatian women, I feel the strength in the room, so I appreciate being here in community. Look, it's getting harder. I mean, I wish I could say it's getting easier, but I do believe in the will of people. I mean, my trajectory was not the easiest trajectory either. But if you have a goal, if you have a dream, you're unstoppable. And so, regardless of barriers, regardless of obstacles, I believe in people's perseverance. Never giving up, never taking no for an answer. And when a door closes, figuring out how to open up a window. And when the window closes, figure out how to dig a hole. And so that's how I'm here. I'm here not because the road was easy. The road was very, very difficult, and people make it even harder for you. But I built a network of women, especially women and men, that believed in me, that wanted me to be where I am today, that helped build my platform in so many ways. And so I think surrounding yourself with the right people, with the right networks, being ready, taking on opportunities, and never taking no for an answer, I think absolutely the American dream, or any dream, this was my American dream, but anybody that dreams big should be able to accomplish it. and by never giving up.
Let me connect that with a question I had in mind. And this is, you obviously learned a lot, even as a child, and it seemed like a woman who is really always just learning more and more and becoming more resilient and wiser and wiser and wiser. Is there anything that your children taught you about leadership and about how to be a better woman?
Well, my children have taught me a lot. I mean, I don't want to say everything, but a lot. They made me braver. You know, they allowed me to take more risks. I see them. I remember one time, my younger son is a risk taker in every way. And he was climbing up this mountain, and I said, you can't go up that way. And he said to me, the only way, Mom, is up. You know, and I see what he does without any fear. And it's true, the only way is up. And the fear factor is what holds anybody behind. And I can tell you, I probably could have been the President of the United States, although the Constitution does not allow me, if fear had not held me back from a lot of things. And so you could be your worst enemy in many ways, from holding you back from dreaming big and accomplishing even bigger. So my kids, I learn from them every day something. But the biggest gift that they've given me is being braver and allowing me to take more risks.
And what is that you want to make sure that your sons know about women?
Well, lucky are the women that marry my sons, because I think they're going to be amazing husbands. They know a lot about women. I mean, you know, they see me as a working mother. I always worked. Even as I was giving birth, I actually never took maternity leave. But they have been part of my life in everything. When they were younger, they would travel with me. And so they've seen what it means to be a working mother. And I think that they value that. And what I want them to know about women, I feel like they already know, because they have me as a mother. And I think that, you know, help women achieve their dreams, and they helped me achieve this dream. My children did not come with me to Croatia. They would come back and forth every other week, but they lived in Copenhagen. And so we need men to be supportive of women, of their dreams, and of their aspirations. And I think my children have helped me achieve my goals, and so they'll continue doing that in the future.
And going back to the book, why book now? I mean, and also, what kind of a book is it? Is it like a leadership book? Is it your memoir? Why the book now, and what is it?
I think people nowadays need to hear stories like mine. I think that the world is a little depressed, unfortunately, and people need hope. And so my goal in everything I'm doing today is to keep the lights on. We need to make sure we're all have our bright lights on and help others with their light too. And so the book is important now because it is a leadership book, but it's through the lens of a memoir. And so it's lessons learned in my life trajectory. And so I feel like now more than ever, especially women, need a leadership book to say, if I can do it, I went from 0 to ambassador, you can do anything as well.
It's the question that never asks. It's a very important part of the book in a way, right? To say anytime, any place, it is possible. Yeah?
It is
because
possible.
The only way is up, as your son would say.
The only way is up. I mean, you know, I talk about my upbringing. You know, I have a mother who has a 10th grade education. She was married at 15, had her first child at 16, second at 17. She ended up having 6 children. She's an amazing human being. My father had a 12th grade education. And so I should not be here. I mean, that's a reality.
Can we have a round of applause because she is here. Do we have any other questions? I have still some.
I'm sure you do.
What else are you doing now? Because it's not only that you are being now a mother and leisurely sitting at home, following your Instagram. You were in the last 10 days on 3 different continents. You are helping children from Ukraine. You are hanging with Eva Longoria. tell us a bit about what do you do now as well, apart from writing the book?
So, it's interesting because, people ask me that question, what do you do? And I've always had a title. I was deputy mayor in the city of Los Angeles, deputy chief of staff. I was president, CEO. I was ambassador. I don't have a title anymore. So I do a lot of things. I have a very deep portfolio of things that I do. Besides writing the book, I'm a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, so I still work on geopolitical issues, especially nowadays with Venezuela and Iran and Lebanon. I feel like it's all coming my way. And so my voice, I feel, is important at this point in all these geopolitical issues. I'm on different boards. I've decided that my next career, I want to be more involved with boards, especially corporate boards. So I took my first corporate board not too long ago. It's not been announced yet, but I'll announce it here. It's a Scandinavian company called Norvia, and I've just joined their board. And then, of course, I still do philanthropy, and wherever I feel, my value set is highlighted. So I'm on the board now of the Robert and Ethel Kennedy Human Rights Center. There's human rights violations happening throughout the globe, even in the United States of America, and so we need to make sure that we're defending human rights wherever we go. And, I'm just on the board of the UCLA, my alma mater. We're creating a new global program so that students can actually understand the world better and be better leaders in global affairs. And so it's deep, it's long. Go to my website, nathalierayes.com, and see everything that I'm doing. But in any way that I can continue showing up, I am.
You are already, yeah, please, Carolyn. Can you have a mic?
Hi, thank you, Eva, thank you, Natalie. We were speaking earlier, and then when you talked about hope, I think if I could give you a title, I'd say, how would you be an ambassador for hope? I'm really interested in hope, because when Pandora slammed the box shut with all the evils of the world let out, the only thing she left in the box was hope. And if we open the box of hope, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I think that we all carry hope in our hearts. I think that, this room gives me hope. This is what hope looks like. It's us coming together under, a room saying, we need to do more for each other. We need to help each other, and we need to advance each other. That gives me a lot of hope. And so I think that simple things like that are transformational. And so thank you for the question.
I was just about to ask sort of like a final question, but I do think that was such a beautiful last question, because my question will be, do you want to leave something with this room of mostly women, and there is, I think, 3 men, and of course Augie is one of them. Is there anything you would like still on top of this message about hope to leave with the room?
Well, I'd like to know why the men are here. Why did you, are you here to support women? We need more. I think Women Conference, we need to have 50% men too, because we need more men to be here to support women. Look, I think that, my last message is that it has been a tough few years, and I think that folks are trying to find that hope, that light. But Croatia is that light. And Croatia has been a light in this region for many, many years. Part of the EU, part of the Schengen area, part of the Eurozone, all the great things that Croatia has been doing. And so it is now up to women to really carry the mantle in Croatia. And so and I've been, writing about women in Croatia a lot. I mean, most highly educated women are here in Croatia. You're graduating at record levels, more than most places in the European Union. But we need to make it easier for women to be who they want to be. And that means ensuring that we have, after-school programs for our children, good daycares, all these important things. And so at the end of the day, I think that women need to, I always tell, even the Prime Minister, you don't even have to import talent. Just get women to come out of their homes to work, right? And give them the tools necessary for them to be able to give their full potential. And so it is up to us to make sure we say to each other, you can do more, how can I help you? and ensure that every woman that we know is living her best life.
I need to do something which is going to be for fun, but maybe not. And Nevena doesn't know that this is going to be my idea. But I was just thinking now when she was talking, she could be a perfect ambassador for Women's Weekend, right? Yeah. So there's your new title.
Well,
thank you so much, Nathalie. Thank you so much.
Your